The universe was ancient. Stars had burned for billions of years, civilizations had risen and fallen, and countless empires had left their mark upon the fabric of time. When they looked upon Earth, they saw a species that had only just begun to crawl from its cradle. To them, we were young, naive, primitive. They had no idea we were the elders. It began with the arrival of the Vaesen, a highly advanced interstellar race that saw themselves as the peacekeepers of the galaxy. Their sleek, silver ships descended into Earth's orbit like celestial deities, bringing promises of knowledge, technology, and enlightenment. Their message echoed in every language across the planet. Humans, we are the Vaesen. We bring wisdom, advancement, and prosperity. You have much to learn. At first, we listened. The leaders of the world gathered, eager to welcome these visitors who spoke of a golden age. They shared tales of civilizations that had flourished for millions of years, of cosmic mysteries they had unraveled, and of the wonders they had mastered. They believed we were still finding our place among the stars. They did not see the scars hidden within our history, the eons of war, the cycles of rise and fall, the hard-earned lessons embedded within our very DNA. We had forgotten more than most species would ever learn. When the Vaesen offered their guidance, we played along. They shared their philosophies, their sciences, their breakthroughs in energy manipulation, warp technology, and medicine that could cure any affliction. They believed they were lifting us into the future. They mistook our silence for ignorance. Then came the moment everything changed. A Vaesen delegation toured Earth's museums. They examined artifacts from civilizations thousands of years past, ancient ruins, primitive tools, skeletal remains of ancestors long forgotten. And they laughed. Your history is barely a whisper. Your species is still crawling, one of them remarked. That was when we showed them the truth. Not just the pyramids. Not just the Mayan temples. Not the lost cities buried beneath sand and jungle. We took them deeper, beneath the earth itself. We revealed structures that predated humanity, built by hands erased from history. We showed them machines embedded in stone, artifacts no scientist could explain. Remnants of lost ages. And then we told them. We spoke of the cycles. How humanity had not risen once, but many times. How we had conquered the stars before, forged empires across the void, only to vanish. We told them of wars that shattered entire star systems, of knowledge lost and rediscovered time and time again. We told them that Earth was not our first home, it was our last. The Vaesen fell silent. Their technology scanned our world anew, probing not just the surface but the deepest layers of rock and ocean. And they found them echoes of civilizations so old they defied comprehension. Remnants of a past far older than their own. It was then they understood. We were not the youngest species in the cosmos. We were the oldest. They came to uplift us, to guide what they believed was a young and naive species. But in the end, it was they who left with something to learn. And when the true predators of the stars arrived, the ones who viewed all new species as prey, humanity did not cower. We remembered. We always remembered. This time, we would not fall. This time, we would be the teachers. The Vaesen delegation departed Earth in silence, their former arrogance replaced by quiet, almost fearful respect. They had come expecting to bestow knowledge upon a primitive world, yet they left with the unsettling realization that they had awakened something far older than they had imagined. Word spread. The eyes of the galaxy turned toward Earth. Some species came in curiosity, eager to learn from this so-called ancient race. Others, however, saw an opportunity. If humanity had once been powerful, then surely they had fallen for a reason. If Earth was the graveyard of past civilizations, then perhaps it was ripe for conquest. They had no idea what they were walking into. The first test came just a year after the Vaesen revelation. The Zir Dominion, a war-hardened empire that had subjugated dozens of worlds, saw Earth as weak. The whispers of an ancient humanity meant nothing to them. Words were not weapons. They saw a planet with no interstellar fleets, no planetary defenses, no warships patrolling the skies. To them, humanity was a relic, clinging to old myths. So they invaded. They arrived in towering warships, each bristling with enough firepower to reduce continents to ash. They entered Earth's orbit unchallenged, broadcasting their demands in a dozen languages: surrender, serve, or be eradicated. For a moment, the world held its breath. And then we laughed. They had mistaken patience for weakness. The skies above Earth ignited as hidden defenses activated. Deep beneath our oceans, buried within mountains, concealed in the void of space, our true weapons awakened. Technology long thought lost roared back to life. Cannons powered by forces beyond conventional science tore through Zir warships like paper. Orbital defenses, relics of an era forgotten by all but us, came online with cold mechanical precision. The Earth itself seemed to rebel against the invaders, as if it had been waiting for this very moment. Then their ground forces landed. Towering insectoid warriors, armored in near-indestructible exoskeletons, expected resistance. They anticipated desperate gunfire, improvised defenses, primitive defiance. They did not expect the cities to fight back. Beneath the streets, ancient machines stirred. Walls shifted, reshaping into barricades. Roads cracked apart to reveal concealed artillery. Entire buildings transformed into towering fortresses. The Zir had no idea how many times we had fought this war before. They had no idea we had designed our world to be a weapon. The battle lasted 3 days. On the 4th, the Zir fleet burned in the sky, their flagship torn asunder. Their invasion force was annihilated. The few who survived were allowed to leave, not as victors, not even as equals, but as messengers. Messengers who carried one undeniable truth across the stars. Humanity was not to be underestimated. We were not young. We were the ones who had come before. And this time, we would not fade. The Zir fled, their shattered fleet limping back into the abyss. Their empire, forever changed by the horror they had unleashed upon themselves, bore the scars of their folly. The message was clear: Earth was not to be touched. But in the void beyond, the stars whispered. Other empires watched, calculating, waiting. Humanity had survived one invasion, but surviving was not the same as thriving. The galactic elite had seen countless species rise, fight, and eventually crumble under the weight of unrelenting war. To them, this was merely the beginning of a test. They had no idea we had faced this before. And we would face it again. For the next 3 years, the galaxy held its breath. No empire dared to strike openly, but we were not naive. Whispers of hidden schemes, spies, and sabotage reached our ears. Some species sought alliances, others sought control, and some merely wanted to know the truth. Had humanity truly walked the stars before? Did we possess knowledge beyond our years? And if so, why had we disappeared? The answers lay beneath Antarctica. For decades, scientists puzzled over an impossible structure buried deep beneath the ice. Satellite scans revealed something too precise, too symmetrical to be natural. And when the Vason rescanned our planet, they confirmed what we had long suspected. It was a ship. Not just any ship, an ark. A relic from an era long before this one. A remnant of a war that had erased entire galaxies from history. When we unearthed it, the truth became undeniable. Despite the ravages of time, its systems still held fragmented records. Corrupted, worn, but not lost. They spoke of a war against something beyond the known universe. A war so dire that humanity had chosen to retreat, to erase itself from the galactic stage. To bury its knowledge so that the enemy could never find it. We had not fallen. We had hidden. And now, with the Ark awakening, the question was no longer whether humanity would return to the stars. It was whether the thing we once fought would notice. The warning came in the 4th year. A deep space relay at a Sun station, monitoring the outer edges of the known galaxy, sent a final transmission before falling silent. No ships had been detected, no warnings had been issued, yet the station was simply gone. Then the message arrived. Not in words, not in threats, but in a single ancient symbol burned into space itself, etched across the void like a scar. We knew it. We had seen it before. And we had spent ages hoping to never see it again. The elders of humanity had awakened, but so had our greatest enemy. The war we had once lost was coming back. This time, we would be ready. The rest of the galaxy didn't understand what had just begun. To them, Asun Station's disappearance was an anomaly, a mystery to be investigated in due time. But we knew better. The symbol carved into the void was older than any existing empire, older than any civilization still standing. It was a warning. A declaration. A whisper from something that should have remained forgotten. The enemy had returned. In secrecy, we began our preparations. For too long, Earth's governments had been fractured and divided. Now, for the first time in centuries, we stood united under a single purpose: survival. War was coming, and we would not face it alone. Beneath Antarctica, the Ark was only the beginning. Hidden across our world, buried beneath mountains and lost beneath oceans, lay the remnants of what we once were, fragments of a civilization that had once ruled the stars. The Ark systems led us to them. Deep beneath the Himalayas, we unearthed another vault, sealed for over 100,000 years. Inside, we found what had been promised: not just weapons, not just ships, but technology so advanced, so devastating, that even the mightiest galactic empires could not comprehend them. Ships built for war, sleek and black, lined with metals that defied modern understanding. Weapons that could bend space, tear through shields, and reduce planets to dust. Humanity had once been a superpower. Now, we were about to be one again. But the enemy was already moving. The first true attack came at the fringes of the known galaxy, in a system controlled by the X-ray Confederacy. One moment, their colony world was there; the next, it was gone. Erased as if it had never existed. No distress calls. No survivors. Just empty space where an entire civilization had once stood. The Vaesen panicked. For the first time in their long history, they had no answer. Their technology could not detect the attackers. Their fleets could not retaliate against an enemy that left no trace. But we knew. This was how it had started before. This was why we had vanished. And this time, we would not run. 6 months later, the first human fleet launched. It was a sight no other species had ever witnessed: ships not new, but ancient, reforged from the remains of a forgotten empire, powered by technology no living race could match. They moved like phantoms, sleek and dark, almost alive in their precision. And they carried a single message to the stars. Humanity had returned. We were not the children of the galaxy. We were the last remnants of something greater. And this time, we would not be erased. The enemy finally revealed itself. A rift tore open in the fabric of space, blacker than the void itself. From within, they came, silent, formless, shifting things, existing half in reality and half outside of it. They did not speak. They did not negotiate. They consumed. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. The Vaesen, the Zealer, the X-ray, all of them sent fleets, desperate to fight an enemy they could not understand. Their weapons failed. Their defenses crumbled. But we had faced this before. And this time, we were ready. The moment the enemy emerged, our weapons roared to life. Not lasers. Not missiles. Something older. Something built not to destroy, but to erase. The enemy hesitated. For the first time in its long, endless existence, it faltered. Because we were not like the others. We remembered. And we had returned for vengeance. The first strike was devastating. Galactic fleets burned, shattered by an enemy they could not comprehend. The Zealer warships, arrogant and proud, were the first to fall. Their shields flickered. Their weapons fired blindly into the void. But it was useless. The enemy did not fight conventionally. It did not rely on fleets, on physical form. It was something else entirely, a hunger, a force that devoured reality itself. The Zealer died screaming. The Exari were next. Their delicate crystalline ships dissolved into nothingness, simply unmade. No wreckage. No debris. Just empty space where entire vessels had once been. The Vaesen, self-proclaimed peacekeepers of the stars, tried to flee. Their ships flickered, jumping to warp. But they never arrived. One by one, their escape routes collapsed into blackened voids, as if the universe itself had swallowed them whole. Panic spread. The galaxy was losing. Then humanity struck back. We had been here before. We had fought this war before. But last time, we had been unprepared. We had not understood the enemy. We had not known how to stop it. Now we did. The first human warship to enter battle was Exodus Prime, an ancient vessel, its hull reforged from metals no scientist could explain. It moved with impossible precision, space itself bending around it. It carried no conventional weapons. Instead, it wielded something far more dangerous, the echo cannon. A weapon designed not to destroy the enemy, but to erase it from existence entirely. With a single pulse, Exodus Prime fired. The void rippled. And for the first time, the enemy recoiled. It remembered. It had faced this before. It had won last time. But now, things were different. Because now, we remembered too. And this time, we would not lose. Across the battlefield, human warships emerged, not from hyperspace, not from jump points, but from hidden locations scattered across the galaxy. Forgotten strongholds buried deep in uncharted space. Humanity had never truly fallen. We had simply waited. And now, the waiting was over. The counterattack was relentless. Every human ship was a relic of the past, rebuilt, reforged, improved. The echo cannon struck again, unraveling the enemy piece by piece. The galaxy watched in disbelief. They had thought Earth was young. They had thought humanity was just beginning. Now, they saw the truth. We were the last remnants of the First Great War. We were the ones who had fought before, who had lost, who had hidden. We were not new to the stars. We were their ancestors. And this time, we would be their salvation.